Welcome to the K.R Film's Entertainment channel. Today I am going to explain sci-fi action movie called Planet of the Apes. In year 2029, Leo Davidson is an astronaut that works for 2 years closely with chimpanzees to train them for space missions for the United States Air Force Base Research Station. Oberon chimpanzee Periclean as his favorite one. An electromagnetic storm hits the station. They receive frequency patterns of electronic communication from Earth from all times in order to obtain the first radiation and gamma ray measurements for the storm. Commander Wozniak orders that parakeet goes with the office spaceport into the storm's core to test if it's safe to go. Leo thinks it's a waste of time and refuses to send Cleese. He offers himself instead, but the commander refuses. Apparently smiles at Leo before he leaves, and Leo tells him to come home after the mission. The chimpanzee spot approaches the storm center, then mysteriously vanishes. Leo buckles up in the Delta pod and goes after, apparently without the authorization of Isaac, who demands him to come back, but Leo refuses, saying never sent a monkey to do a man's work. Once he enters the storm, he loses connection with Ova. On station, meanwhile at the station, they receive a mayday message. It's their own mayday from the future. The storm takes Leo further while the digital year indicator rapidly moves hundreds of years ahead. He falls into a pool of water in the middle of a jungle on an unknown planet. The water gets inside the pod, so he explodes. The emergency door open, takes his helmet off and swims out of the water. He soon hears wrestling sounds and looks up to see a bearded man and a young woman among many people following. They all seem to be running away from roaring apes with helmets and armor. Leo follows them while the apes catch a few humans and put them in a cage cart. The cart was pulled by enslaved humans. During the chase, one ape pushes Leo to fall on the ground. When Leo looks at the leader, General Fade, he gets offended and takes him. The planet is full of apes living like humans but hating on humans. The 8 kids in the streets throw rocks at the humans' card and call them dirty humans, but the human rights activist, he tells the kids to stop, making them call her human lover. The humans get delivered to Limbo, the slave trader, who tells his staff to wear gloves while dealing with humans. General Fade comes to buy a 5-year-old girl as a pet for his nice. Limbo gives her a leash as a gift. He feels disgust by the way they treat humans as Limbo brands his slaves with iron. He jumps and takes the iron stick from his worker and throws it away. It lands next to Leo, who takes it slowly while he explains to Limbo that humans aren't stupid and can be taught to live as equal to them. Leo takes the iron and strangles her close to the case. He asks her to help them while they're distracted by Leo. Dana tries to escape, but Limbo catches her. He decides to buy both of them, Leo and Dana. Limbo delivers her the slaves, but her father, Senator Sundar, has a society dinner which includes a number of senators, their wives, and General Fate. He tells her to keep her humans out of sight. They work in the kitchen with the other 2 house humans. Title in Born, who are supervised by a large elder 8 named Krulin, a army general who opposed Aiden, had his career ruined. General Fade arrived late with his colonel ladder as he was visiting his dying father. They talk about how humans are outnumbering the apes 4-1 because of the quick breeding on the outskirts of a civilization. Senator Not mentions the diseases that humans carry. He says that they wouldn't know as the army burns the bodies before they're examined, and she gestures at her father, so he explains that the Senate feels that the army has been a bit extreme too. That Dade explains that extremism in defense of apes has no vice. She explains how humans are skilled in they have souls. When Leo walks with the tray of food, Fade grabs him, presses on his face and opens his mouth to look for a soul. Everyone of the table laughs except for Ari, who storms to a room. Fade follows her to a room and tells her that he cares about her. When she rejects him, he tells her that he can have her arrested at night. Leo and Dana were kept in a cage. He uses a knife he stole from the kitchen to open the cage and they escape. Meanwhile, 2 Fade soldiers taken to the pool of water where Leo fell. They tell him that something with wings of fire fell from the sky. Fade kills the 2 soldiers to make sure that nobody knows about this. Leo and Dana go get her family where Limbo kept them. Leo breaks the wooden cage and they find the time will follow them. Along with them, her father Bryn and Gunnar join the group and run through the houses. The apes see and chase them, but Aryan Crawl run into them first. Leo asks her to help them. She looks at him in a way that shows she likes and truck awesome. Krulina guide them through a tunnel, but Dana finds her father is injured. The injury slows them down, making the colonel see him. Her father decides to sacrifice himself and goes to face the apes. He manages to distract them from running after his family, but eventually Fade kills him. They go to where Leo fell with his pod. There he tells them that apes are scared of the water because they drown. Leo dives into his part and Dana follows him. She sees the dead soldiers that they'd killed, and Leo finds his bag which has his SOS gun and a messenger device. Amongst other things, he finds he's got contact on the messenger, which mean that his colleagues are already here. As they're walking through the jungle, Limbo finds them and grabs Gunnar. Gunnar resists and elbows Limbo in the face. Bring jumps and beats Limbo, but as to us distance catch him. Leo fires his SOS gun, scaring the assistants away. Leo tells Gunnar to handcuff Limbo and taken with them, otherwise he'd lead Dade and others to them on their way. Leo tells her that humans kept the last of the remaining apes who don't talk in zoos. He noted that the more intelligent we grow, the more dangerous the environment becomes. He was taken aback by his unusually sense it of behavior for a man while their admiration for each other grows. Dana gets jealous. Senator Sander asks Stade to find his daughter. Fade takes this opportunity to ask him to give him absolute power to get rid of all the humans on this planet once and for all. While on his way to get the human, a messenger tells him that his father Senator Zayas caused for him. While Senator Zayas is on his deathbed, he tells they watch an narrations perform have passed on that humans were once the masters and apes were the slaves. He tells him to break an antique face. He finds a gun inside of it. Zeiss explains that the gun is the proof for humans' power of technology and invention. He warns him that no creature is as devious as humans and he shouldn't let them go to kill him or damn them were Zeiss his last words. Leo's messenger device indicates that as Crew is a cleaner. He tells them that according to the sacred texts, Colima is where the Almighty breathed life into Seamless, the first ape, and its Seamless will return. However, she doubts whether there ever actually was a Seamless and that the narrative was just a metaphor fairy tale. Colonel Latter arrives to the defense's camp and warns them about the humans escaping with apes. Leo makes the plan for everyone to get on the camp's horses and cross the river. Ari Krul in limbo gets scared of the water, but Leo insists. He fires the SOS gun to distract the apes while they go right through the camp. During the battle, the apes hurt Limbo and throw fire at his horse, who gets scared and drops Sori to the ground. They tango Leo's horse's leg and he falls off the horse. He runs toward the river and finds Sori scared, so he carries her on his back and takes her through the water. Because she's terrified of water, she holds on to him very tightly. Once they reach to the other side, Dana sees that Leo's shoulder is hurt from his fingers. Fade arrives after it's too late with his big army of soldiers. He orders the divisions to be formed. Meanwhile, Leo's device guides them to area where he finds a human skull and a letter C-A-L-E-M-A on a concrete wall. Well, when Leo brushes his hand across the letters, they turn out to be a warning message: caution live animals. As he goes further in the area, he sees the animal cages from the Oberon, his former space station. He understands that Cleaner, the supposedly forbidden ape poly location, is just the wreckage of the USAF research station. He plugs in his device, turns the control panel, and he breaks the day Hi that accumulated on the screen. He finds the Mayday message from his commander. He explains that they went to find him after he got lost in the storm, and when they landed on this unidentified planet, the apes got wild and rebelled, especially Seamus, who led all the apes to take control over the planet. After they got out of the Lima area, they find all the humans on the planet come to see Leo, the human who rebelled against the eight. They look at him with hope, even though he doesn't feel like such a hero after what he learned in the evening. Brincy states army is coming toward them. He sees how huge the army is, making Krul understand that the Senate gave in to Fade and gave him the full power. Leo feels helpless and tells the people that they just need to survive now and there's no help coming, but Dana tells him that he's the help that came. When he understands how he feels weak, she takes Krul and cross the river to meet Fade. She offers yourself as a trade for humans. When she reaches her hand out to Fade, he shaves her and brands the palm of her hand with a human brand. When Leo plugs the device again into the ship, he finds that the third rocket fuel cell is for. He determines that they got one shot. He makes a plan to draw the apes and close, while the humans led by Bryn hide behind the ship, and a small group led by Dana acts as a bait on horses at the front, but Bryn decides to join with the front group. Once they'd send one group of soldiers, Dane and the group lead them toward the ship while Bryn's horse falls and traps him under. Leo runs to save Brand while the apes come closer. Leo runs faster to hide with humans behind the ship and explodes the rocket. Fade watches his soldiers fly while humans run to kill them. Fade decides to go in there by himself. The soldiers follow him. It's a complete battlefield, humans versus apes. So he sees a soldier almost kills Data, so she jumps and saves her. When Dana sees the human mark on his hand, she starts to respect her. Meanwhile, Krul and Ita in eye contact vow to kill each other, but Ito wins and stabs him dead while Fade finds Leo and make the same vow. However, while Fade strangles Leo to the ground, the hear an explosion. Light comes from the sky as another pot arrives. The door opens and it turns out to be Pericles. He recognizes Leo and gives him a thumbs up. In a smile, Krul determines that the prophecy is true and Seam is returned. Apparently runs inside the station to get to his cage. Leo runs after and followed by Fade. When Fade fights with Leo, Pericles defensive and gets injured. Leo manages to fire his gun at Fade, who gets injured, then knocks the gun off as Hand punches him and takes the gun. He doesn't know how to even hold it and fires off the walls. When he finally points the gun at Leo, who notices the door control is right next to him, Leo presses it with one quick move and closes the door, trapping Fade inside the bridge room. Fade fires the gun, but the glass is bulletproof, reflecting the bullets all over the room. Fade asks Colonel Ladder to help him, calling him his friend, but Leo tells him that he's been lying to him and humans and apes have always lived in peace together. Ato decides not to help him. He begs Ait to help him. She puts her hand on the glass, showing him a human brand on her palm. The bullets keep on reflecting, scaring Fade, forcing him to hide under one of the panels while he covers Crawl's body with sand. Colonel Ladder decides that it's time for humans and apes to live in peace together. Leo finds Pericles in his cage and tells her to take good care of him before he walks toward the pot, or he tell stay, but he decides to go back to his world. She tells him that apes will tell the story of the human that fell from the sky and change their world, even though some would say it's a fairy tale, but she'll always know. Leo leans in and kisses her, sealing the love they shared during the hard circumstances. Dana takes the chance to kiss him as well before he enters the pod. He goes through the storm one last time while the year indicator moved rapidly backward. He finds planet Earth, but once he enters, he hears someone from the mission control telling him that to abort as he's entering a restricted area. It's too late as the pod crashes right in front of Lincoln's statue, which is the face of fate behind him, written in this temple as in the hearts of the apes for whom he saved the planet. The memory of General Fade is enshrined forever. He hears the sirens with hundreds of policemen pointing their guns at him and reporters taking his pictures. How do you think they'd landed on Earth? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this.